Hello everyone, welcome back. If you've seen the last couple of videos, I've talked about Asemic writing and mark making, and today I want to push Asemic writing a little bit more. And what we're going to do is create more of your story. And in a sense, it's your story because it's the way your hand moves, it's what you're thinking when you're doing it, it's the marks that you're making. And we're going to combine, well, it's going to look like pages of Asemic writing within one painting. And I'm really excited about this and I want to share it with you because this is what it's going to look like. And you will have your version, but this is what I want to share with you on what we're going to create. So please join me and let's get started. And in other videos, I've done Asemic writing, which really is a form of abstract writing that doesn't rely on any specific language. It's marks, lines, shapes that feel like they're telling a story. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a layered piece with an illusion of depth using this fascinating technique. Now, first, let's start with the initial layer of Asemic writing. You can use your tool of choice, a marker or paint. I'm going to use acrylic paint in a little squeeze bottle and just start writing. And think of a poem you love or a song lyrics, or maybe you want to send a letter to someone. Maybe you want to give yourself a pep talk and say how wonderful you are and creative you are. It doesn't need to be perfect, this writing. It doesn't even have to make sense. Just let your hand move naturally across the page. The goal is to create a sense of writing without actually writing anything that can be read. Now, I'm going to speed up this process because it is repetitive. And after I finish this first layer, once it's all completed, I let that dry. And then I come back and I'm going to put a light layer of black paint on it, just a wash. It has some water added to it so you can see through it. It's just to push that into the background. And this helps, it's almost like putting a veil on top of it. It pushes it in the background so you can see it, but not so much. It's subtle and it starts to add depth. And then what we're going to do are various things. That's kind of glossy, so you can see it a little bit better. But we're going to let that dry before moving on to the next layer. And then really this is just going to be a series of building up those those layers, and then putting black paint on over top. And some people have said, well, these are just scribbles or doodles. But I really think that these are what you make out of it. I feel like they are telling my story. They're free-flowing and they're abstract. And I really do put intention into these lines. They are intuitive. They're part of me. And they're part of who I am. And in that sense, whenever you're making marks, it's part of you. And so when you do your art, you are an artist. You're an artist in your own way. And don't let others define what an artist is. You have to go to school, you have to do this, you have to go get so many awards. Deep down, you know it in your soul that you're an artist. And that's all that really matters. And so now comes the fun part. Once the layers are dry, it's time to add some shadows. And shadows are what really make this piece pop and give it this illusion of three-dimensional space. So you can use paint, you can use a soft pencil, or you can use charcoal, and gently add shadow details along the edges where each page would overlap. And this is really going to make it look like you have 3 separate layers. So do one first, and then you're just going to repeat the process again with other layers. And I typically do them at different angles just to add interest. It's instead of it having them all parallel lines, it looks like the pages will be just thrown on the tabletop. And it makes it look natural. And you can always go in afterwards and add more detail, add more darkness. This is to just give it the form and the composition right now by adding the layers. And then I'm going to do one more version. I'm going to tilt it another way. I'm going to add that dark edge of a shadow so that it creates that depth. Now that's the start of it. I need to go in and create a little bit more darkness, a little bit more contrast, especially on that edge, so that the pages are really going to pop. But I'm going to show you a finished piece that'll really give you a great idea. So this is it. I've added more contrast, more depth to it, and it just pops. I can frame it in a nice black matte. I just love how it looks, and it's so simple. When you think of it, it's your story, and it's in these 3 pages. It's just wonderful. So with just a few simple layers of Asemic Writing, black paint, and a little shading, you can create this really dynamic piece of artwork that makes it look 3-dimensional. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more art tutorials and tips, and I'd love to see what you create. So tag me on Instagram if you try it out, and thanks for watching.